I'm Kim Graves from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union, and I have Jessica Ausbrook. Hi, Jessica.
You're about to forget my last name.
I almost did. I don't know why.
I've had so many.
Oh, my gosh. Quit. And we're here for the ripple effect.
That's right.
I know. How are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Doing grand.
I'm glad to hear that. We have a very special guest with us.
I know.
Joel Larison is here from Bridgeway Church. Joel, thank you so much for joining us today.
It is an honor to be here with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming in. We're going to put you in the hot seat today. Are you ready?
Seat. Here we go.
Woo!
Nothing that pastors love more than the hot seat. Yeah.
Let's first, Joel, talk a little bit about you. Who are you? How did you get involved with Bridgeway?
Yeah. I'm born and raised here in Howard County, Kokomo, and went to Northwestern High School. Afterwards, went to Indiana Wesleyan. I thought I was going to be a lawyer, and God has a funny, incredible sense of humor because I ended up being a pastor and going into local church ministry, and served in different capacities around the community for about 10 years. And then in 2019, we had a group of people dream and scheme and get together, and we started a new church called Bridgeway Church here in Kokomo, and we launched on March 8th, 2020, which is the greatest time to ever start anything 4 days before a global pandemic. Yeah. But we like to say only by God's sense of humor and his kindness to us. We're still here.
But you made it, right?
We made it by his kindness to us and a lot of stubborn, just do the next right thing kind of attitude.
Oh, we know
so we're here.
We know some of your employees, and we know how stubborn they are. Allison, we're looking at you.
Now, where's your church located?
Yeah, we're on 1401 East Hoffer Street, so directly behind the movie theater. We were in a leased space for our first 3.5-4 years in this old bank on Elizabeth Street, and so we moved across the street in a building that we funded and built, and we opened that building in August of 2024. So we're coming up on a year in our new space, and it feels like home. Yeah,
That's great.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. I mean, you're just like rolling with it, aren't you?
Trying to keep up with the cool things that we feel like God's calling us to do, and enfolding and welcoming a lot of people. We wanted to be a church from the very beginning that was for people that had walked away from faith or feel like faith had walked away from them.
Yeah.
And as we've just focused on that, we've seen just incredible things and awesome stories, and people that are like, I never thought that I would go to church. Like, I'm getting baptized this week. Man, I never thought this would be a part of my story. So it's beautiful things that keep us going in the hard times.
You make me cry a little bit.
Yeah.
It is.
And
It's
thanks
incredible.
to you. I mean, it's probably thanks to you. I mean, it's kind of like
We have
your
a great
passion
team.
and God's
Yeah.
guided you.
We have an incredible team, and I am very imperfect, but I love what I get to do, and I love this community. And we don't have a goal, and I don't have a goal to build a great big thing and to get me on TV or make a bobblehead of Joel. But from the very beginning, I wanted to make a big impact in this community that I love, and I wanted to come alongside people that were doing great work and pour fuel on their fire and build a community around that.
There's something that we talked about a little bit before we started recording, and I said, to me, Bridgeway is a very safe church. It's a safe church for everyone.
Yeah. That and I mentioned to you that's a really kind thing for you to say, and that's one of the things that we definitely want to be known for. One of our taglines, one of the things that we live by, and one of our core values is that we want to be about longer tables and shorter fences.
I love that.
In a time when there's so much division and all these dividing lines between different groups of people, enemies and in and out, we want to be a community for everybody, and we want to be serious about that. And it's been a really beautiful thing to be a part of.
And you are very serious about it. I mean, so many people have started going to Bridgeway. Maybe, like you said, they walked away from the church for a little while, had a bad experience, but they're back.
Yeah. And and we really think that's what gets us out of bed. And I love giving some of the best hours of my day and my life to it.
Okay, so what does a normal week look like for a pastor? I've always wondered that. Like, when
I only work on Sundays, right?
when do you write? When do you practice? You have to practice, right?
Yeah. It's all a part of it. But it's interesting because like preaching or just giving like the sermon, it's just a part of it. I always see myself, or I want to see myself more as a pastor than just a preacher. I'm a pastor who gets to preach, but I'm not just a preacher who stands up on stage and goes into a green room and never talks to anybody.
Sometimes I think preacher is not the right way to describe some of the folks we have here in town. They're not preaching, they're loving, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so, it's trivia every week, right? Like, cause you might have plans. And then, I mean, in the last 8 days I've done a wedding and 2 funerals as well, and you can't plan for those kind of things, but you're there for marrying and burying and everything in between.
I mean, the biggest parts of people's lives.
The most vulnerable parts, which is just an honor to step in and serve families in that way. But you just really never know what you're going to get. So we have a staff team that I'm helping to try lead, and they're very patient with me. And we're planning and looking ahead and serving people in the middle of everything. And so
I'm like about ready to tear up here.
Now, I
don't know. I mean, it's just a happy, safe place for everybody, and that's so important. Not everybody is.
I know.
Not
And my
everywhere is.
nephew is a pastor, which you know that.
My
And
father-in-law.
so he is, you have some similarities.
that's awesome.
And so
Sure, he's all- great guy.
everything is so natural for him.
Does he also wear denim jackets?
Yes, he does.
It's the current
He does.
uniform of millennial
He does.
pastors.
And he wears
right?
a lot of hats too.
Okay.
So it's just
My
it's-
hair's too big for hats, so I can't pull that off. but-
He doesn't have any hair. He's bald. So it's easy for him to slip on a hat. But the bad side to him is that, he's an Ohio State fan. So
That's rough.
You know
what?
that's rough in
Only
the
thing
family.
worse
That's
is a
rough.
Michigan fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, well,
Whoa.
yeah, I agree, girl.
That's right.
I
Goodness, this is-
totally
I knew where to
agree.
get.
You're really pushing my values of being for everyone right now.
You know what? We'll pray for you.
No perfect people allowed. We say that at our church too. No perfect people allowed. Yeah.
We've
But
talked a lot
it
about
just-
the church, but
Yeah,
you
so
guys
I
are
mean,
doing
it's
some
just-
great things.
It's just you are doing some great things, and I know as a pastor sometimes things just come so natural for you to just step up and talk about things because you were asking him. I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you practice? Do you go in and you think about what you want to say? I mean, you just don't step up and you're like, okay, what are we going to talk about today?
It's not just Sundays too.
Yeah.
I think it's a very common
It's like all the
misconception.
time,
Yeah.
I mean, you're inspired. There's things that's just come out. I guess I just don't know how I want to say it, but
No, there's a lot of planning, and then you have to step into moments to prepare and work on it. And honestly, like the inspiration part, I have to work on continuing to be inspired so I don't phone it in. The worst thing that I can do with my work is show up and phone it in and not really feel it, and it doesn't live through my life first, and then it becomes hypocrisy, and it becomes I'm putting on a show, which the scriptures teach a lot about that, and Jesus was like, no bueno to that stuff.
No,
So.
no can do.
you just said it. You have to feel it.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
I think I was reaching for. So
I
don't
like
know.
it.
But there's some other things you do at your church. Do you want to share with us?
Well, yeah, I can get right into that. I guess. Yeah. So, the kind of church that we want to be from the very beginning, when Bridgeway was just an idea on a Starbucks napkin, we knew that Kokomo has so many incredible churches, and it didn't need just another church. But we really felt compelled and called to be a different kind of church. And one of the ways that we are trying to live out our unique vision at Bridgeway is to be an outward facing church and to be a church that serves our community and comes along people in nonprofit organizations and pulls them together and pours fuel on their fire. I remember being at a leadership conference years and years ago, and this conference speaker was like, "What would your community do if you closed your church doors next week?" And I remember thinking, I don't know, and he did that like pregnant pause that conference speakers like to do with the drama, right? And I'm standing there, they'll probably miss that Christmas concert or when he speaks or when she speaks or the lights or something like that. That's probably what I was thinking at the time. And he comes back, he goes, your community should be panicking. Your community should be mourning because you're so integral to the flourishing and the thriving of your community and coming along people that are hurting and suffering and loving everybody that they should be freaking out. What are we going to do now? And as we were, dreaming about Bridgeway, we're like, that's the kind of culture that we want to create. That's the ingredients we want to bake into the cake from the very beginning. And so we take community impact very seriously. We plan the ways that we serve our community and give back to our community and bless our community the way that we plan the sermons and the songs. It's like that kind of intensity, right? Because we don't want to be a church that's just about half decent TED Talks and good music with karaoke Jesus lyrics on the screen. We want to be more about that, right?
I grew up Catholic and I love the lyrics on the screen, by the way.
It's great.
I don't know these songs, but I want to sing them.
Yeah,
I do
it's
too.
great. It's
I do
great.
too. And I
And we
can't
love
sing them
that.
unless I see the words.
We love that. We do that, but we want to be about more than that. And so we went on a journey of trying to identify different cries of our community. That's the way we described it. We didn't want to just come in and just diagnose things that we don't like. And we didn't want to just come and be like, oh, this is broken, that stinks, and these people are terrible, they're not doing their job, and just complain about it. Mm-hmm. We want to be a group of people that get our hands dirty and skin up our knees in the good work that's going on and be a part of the solution, not just complaining there's no solution. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we identified some cries of our community that we every quarter were serving and giving back and blessing. And then a couple months ago, I came across an article online about how debilitating medical debt is in America. America, the greatest country in the world, but we have not figured this stuff out, right? That's one area where like healthcare and insurance, we got that handled, not quite. Yeah. So just reading some stats and hearing some things around our country about how many people carry medical debt because of an emergency they weren't planning for, or a loophole in their insurance policy, and they're just carrying unpaid medical debt that's debilitating them in other ways. Like your credit goes down.
Yeah, right.
You can't buy a home. You oftentimes can't rent because of undue medical debt. Not only that, but it has repercussions in their actual health because they're not getting medical procedures done. They're not going because they're already owed debt. And so they're like, I'm not going to accrue more debt and just fall more into a hole. And then it makes this really vicious cycle. And I was reading about it, and I was reading about some organizations that try to help people with their unpaid medical debt. We connected with an organization called Undue Medical Debt that bundles and purchases medical debt that's been sitting for a long time at pennies on the dollar. And you can make a huge difference with giving to that. And so we first were like, hey, we'd love to. What if we could actually take care of all the unpaid medical debt in Howard County? What a cool thing that we could be a part of. We were just in a series talking about the book of Acts, which is about the early church and how they were people that had an active faith, not just coming to church and singing songs, but going out and doing the thing. And we're like, what if we could actually not just talk about it on Sundays, like be those people? So we connected with them, learned about Howard County, and they're like, oh man, you guys can do so much more with the money that you were able to give. And so they started spreading out the map to 7 surrounding counties in Indiana. And we started to see some of the numbers and the things that we could do with just our gift as a church, and ended up we were able to take out all of the medical debt from 7 surrounding counties, which was 587 individuals or families, which wiped out $1,112,000, almost $113,000 of medical debt. So it was just like, with our gift, pennies on the dollar to make that happen. People in Boone County, the average debt was $2,200. In Tipton County, the average family was almost $5,000 that we were able to just wipe out. Beyond that, we were also able to have a letter sent to each and every person that we helped take care of their debt.
They didn't know you were doing this until it was done?
No, they didn't know until it was done. So they get a letter in the mail that says, hey, undue medical debt in Bridgeway Church. And in the letter, we were able to say, hey, we want you to know that this debt you've been carrying has been forgiven. And that's a huge deal for us as Christ followers, because a huge part of the story of Christianity, whether you're a follower or you think the whole thing is whatever, but a huge part of the story is that Jesus paid a debt that we couldn't pay, and he forgave the unforgivable, and he did that for us. And so we were able to say, like, we want to do that for you. And for me, that's a huge, compelling story, because I think, especially in the Midwest, we don't have a knowledge problem of the Christian story of Jesus died for your sins and all that kind of stuff. We don't have a knowledge story. We really have an experience story of people not seeing it played out and lived out, and see Christians being full of grace and forgiveness to others. So for us to demonstrate that to almost 600 families across our state was just a beautiful thing.
Incredible.
And it was just something that our church rallied around, and we're still celebrating and hoping that, these families really get a new start.
Absolutely.
That would be great if you could get quite a few churches across the state of Indiana to jump on board and do the same thing, so that the whole state would be free and clear of medical bills.
What a beautiful vision, right?
That.
Yeah.
You could start that.
Yeah, we just have to get churches to get their grip off of the money that comes in, right?
I know.
But that's a hard thing.
So
but
you know what? Hey, you're not in business. You got to do this. You're a church. Give back.
Yeah. So no, it's a beautiful thing, and it was another example of just the way to do this is out there. You just have the want to.
Right.
You have to have the sacrificial spirit to do it.
That's right.
But there are ways that this should not be happening. This should not be happening.
Agree.
And so instead of us just, banging our fists on the table and complaining about it, the kind of people that we want to be, we don't hit it all the time, but the type of people we want to be at Bridgeway are people that, okay, let's not just whine about it, let's be a part of the solution. And this was just one way that we were able to do that.
There's a really great quote from Mr. Rogers that it said, when something crazy is happening and something bad is happening, look for the helpers.
Every time.
Look for the people who are helping other people. They're safe. And that's what you guys are doing. You're helping.
Yeah, we want to be those people. So
I'm kind of curious, did any of the families come to your church after you took care of this debt, or what was their response after you took care of the debt?
We haven't heard very much individual response. I mean, the letters just got delivered or was mailed like a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And they actually say that a couple times they have to mail it multiple times because people think it's like a publisher clearinghouse. This can't be real reality.
We probably say that too.
I know, right? You're like, there's no way this is real.
Somebody called Joel.
I'm sure there'll be some trickling in of stories. But at the same time, we're just trusting that the right thing happened and we're blessing people. We don't need to know exactly how it all played out. We know that their debt was forgiven, so that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
No.
I mean, what the response is.
It'd be a cool little bow on the story to have somebody come to your church, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. We're not going to be territorial about that. We just want to be a blessing.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you say that.
So what's coming up? What do you got on the way?
What do we got on the way? Well, we're in the middle of the summertime, which is an exciting time for us. In the same vein, actually, knowing that there was some state cut funding for some extra funds for kids in our community that were getting free and reduced lunches, our team has connected with a couple other local churches, and we are every week we're hanging out at the Garden Square neighborhood and providing a hot meal and like a big grocery bag of food for 5 days for families to take back to where they are, and that's going across the whole country. That was our county. That was a really awesome thing that we were able to do, partnering with other churches, the United Way and the Housing Authority. That happened just in a week. So we're serving every single week doing that. But it was a cool thing to be like, oh man, we're going to really build a plane midair. And but to see it all come together, yes, man. So it's a really, really cool thing. So we're serving in that way. I know in July 20th, we have a parking lot party at our church that the whole community is invited to. There's going to be some food trucks, some inflatables for kids, always a bunch of activities. It's just a fun time to hang out. And maybe you're not a church person, a religious person, come rub shoulders with some Christians that are just normal, messed up people just like you. And it's just a great opportunity just to come hang out. And there's no sermon, no offering or anything like that, man. No judgment, just come hang out. And so we've got that coming up in July. We also have a kids camp for elementary age kids that is coming at the end of June, the last second to last week in June, that everyone's welcome to as well. Sort of our VBS thing that we got going on. That's free.
We all went to VBS.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's a fun summer.
So much going on. It sounds awesome.
It really. Okay, so what are we talking about in church this week?
Oh, this is a great question because it's always like a good review for me. What am I talking about on Sunday? This is really interesting. I love this topic we're talking about because we're talking about doubt. And the series title is called Doubting Faithfully. Faithfully doubting. It's this idea that doubt and faith are not diametrically opposed, that we're all actually a complicated cocktail of faith and doubt. And we actually have tons of examples from the scriptures of people that we would consider heroes or sheroes of the faith who actually had faith and doubt at the same time. And so we're looking at this little minor prophet in the Old Testament, a guy by the name of Habakkuk. And no, you don't have to beep that out. It's not a Hebrew swear word. It's actually a name.
Are there Hebrew swear words in the Bible?
You better believe they're hidden in there, I'm sure.
I grew up Catholic, and so we had the Missalette. But not Bible readers. People don't pull out their Bibles in Catholic church. There's the book. It's
Just
for the
get
month.
out your Hail Mary if you're going to say that.
That's right.
So Habakkuk, he's angry at God, and there's a whole chapter of him calling out God, being like, God, where are you? Why are you allowing this to happen? But at the same time, he's still looking towards God. And so we said a couple weeks ago that God would rather have you yell at him and argue with him than walk away from him. Mm-hmm. And then last week, one of my teammates, a person on our teaching team, Allison Brantley, taught about how God works in the waiting. And when we actually wait on God expectantly, we're changed in the process. Mm-hmm. And so this Sunday, I'm going to talk about what it looks like to actually remember God. So remember who God was in the light when you're walking in the darkness. And so to look back on the things that God did when it was good times, when you're in the dark, actually can fuel you for the future. So we're talking about doubt and how to sort of journey through it to be faithfully doubting.
That sounds great. Okay, so if we want to attend a service at Bridgeway, when are they?
9 and 11 on Sunday mornings. 2 identical services. We'd love to have you come hang out with us, give it a shot. But there's so many awesome churches around town. But yeah, we'd love for you to give us a shot if you don't have a home.
That's right. All right. Joel Larison from Bridgeway Church, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
And thank you for wiping out all that medical debt.
I know. Thanks.
Hey,
Thanks to
thank you to
and
Cool
Bridgeway.
your-
thing. When
Yeah.
you look for problems and you don't want to just whine about it, there's some good work to be done.
It's funny that you say that. We just had Jason from Dad Camp on a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah,
and
Jason
it,
Braun, amazing guy.
it's just it really feels good to be in Kokomo and to see everybody working together. The churches work together. The nonprofits work with the churches. It is, kind of a well-oiled machine in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
But it still takes more. We need more.
Yeah, we're not done. A lot of work to be done. Job's not done.
Nope,
lot
it
of
is.
work.
It'll never be done.
And
But
you guys are
trying.
making steps, all making steps in the right direction. So it's amazing. God's work.
It is. It's a cool thing to be a part of.
We're proud of
Very
you.
blessing. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Joel Larison, Bridgeway Church. Thanks for joining us again today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Jessica Ausbrook. This is Kim Grace. We're from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union. Thanks so much for watching.